I'm Leslie from Just Less Creations. Super excited to be here and showing you our next cake pop. We're gonna tackle a little grill, perfect for Father's Day, perfect for the 4th of July celebrations. Man, I'm super excited about this one. It was the first time I've done a grill ever, and I love the outcome of it, so I can't wait to share it with you. So let's take a look at our grill that we're going to do today. So we have the legs of our grill. We have this piece where we stick our legs into so that it can stand actually. We have the cake pop. We have this blue band that we're going to put around the top. We have the grill component. We have hot dogs, a hamburger with cheese, and then we have a kebab that we're going to put on there. So today we're going to go ahead and break down all these components and put them together. And you'll see that it really is easy to do when you just remove it all and make step by steps. Okay, so let's do the first things first is get our cake pop dough. I have a vanilla pound cake here. And I'm just gonna use a Wilton's cookie scoop. It is a 1 ounce cookie scoop today. All right, so I have some cake pop dough and I'm just gonna actually just knead it in my hands. And then I'm just gonna apply some extreme pressure, squeezing out all any air pockets that are in there, and as I apply that pressure, it will begin to form that round ball. Once it actually forms in your hand, there's a definitive line where you know it's going from that flat mess in your hand to a nice round ball. You can relax the pressure, wide around the outside, light touch, and it'll actually form into a nice little ball. It's just super cool. But I'm not really worried. I don't need a nice round ball right away because I'm actually going to form a grill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cake pop dough and I'm just going to flatten the edge just a little. All right, so now it's almost an oblong. Now I need a flat bottom, so I'm just going to push down on it and spin it at the same time. And I'm just looking to get an edge along the side of the table. And now look, it's all wonky, and that's okay. I'm looking for a flat edge at the bottom, one thing at a time. Okay, and then I'm going to pat down because I don't need a fat, elongated grill. I want a skinny one. As far as I'm talking this distance here. Now I'm probably sure places, I want to give a shout out to like My Little Cake Shop, I think that's what it's called. They have molds for everything. You can absolutely go to some place like that makes the molds, and it would be a whole lot simpler. But back in the day when I first started, we didn't have that stuff. We just had to learn how to do it. So I've just become so comfortable over the years of just creating things by hand, but by all means. All right, so what I did, I just took my cake pop dough and I just flattened it. I don't know if you saw that, just so I have a flat edge on the bottom. And then I am going to take my lollipop stick. I've already dipped it in white chocolate to about 1.25 inches down. That chocolate creates a barrier between the paper lollipop stick and any oils and fats that I have in my cake pop dough so that my stick does not yellow. I'm going to dip just the tip into my chocolate right in the center. I'm going to push it in and I'm going to turn it clockwise until that chocolate begins to grab that cake pop dough. You'll feel it. Once that happens, you're going to turn it 1/4 turn back to lock that in place. And then I'm just going to take that excess off the bottom. Wait a minute. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to let that chocolate set up on the inside of our cake pop dough. And while that's happening, we're going to go ahead and create the elements that we need. The first thing we're going to tackle is the grill part. Right here underneath the hamburgers and hot dogs. We're going to tackle that first because I'm actually going to use just wet chocolate. And during the time of this tutorial, I want to be able to make sure that it has time to set up. All right, so I just have a regular piping bag. So I've got my chocolate set up. So in order to figure out how big of the grill that we need, I actually just take These are cutters, the Atco cutters. There's 11 of them in here, and I just sized it till I could figure out which one would fit on there best. And I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty darn close to where I could fit it over the top. That's what we want. And I just took it then, put it on a piece of cardboard. Let's do it this way. And I put some tape on the back. I don't want it to move while I'm piping it on there. Whoops. Let's try that again. And then I just drew circles. Okay, that's all I did with that. Now I'm going to take some parchment and I'm going to put that over there, over top of it. And then I'm just going to tape it down so it doesn't move. I don't want it to move. And it's not really going to stick to the parchment, you know, because that's what it's made to do, non-stick. You just don't want it to move. Oh, look at you. Well, that's where I add cake pop dough, so it's got a little bit of the fats on it. Let's try over here. And I'm not really worried about it because I can work around it. When I did it the other day, just so you know, I did it on directly on my counter. I put the card down and I put the parchment over top of it, but it was directly on the counter. It wasn't on my parchment, and it stuck just fine like that, and it didn't go anywhere. But I've got this much camera space to work with, so. Okay. All I'm going to do is take the very tip off. I mean, just the very tip. All right. And I just want to see how much it comes out. All right. Now I'm just going to start by creating the circle. And it doesn't have to be perfect. By all means, it certainly won't. But maybe I should have cut it just a little bit more. Whoa, like that's awful. Maybe I shouldn't have drank so much coffee this morning. But I'm going to go around it a couple of times because you need it thick enough that when you pick it up, it's not going to fall apart. And then I'm just going to create the grill slats. See that? And then I'm just going to go back because I need them to make just a little bit thicker because when you pick it up, you don't want it to break. So I'm going to do it one more time. Okay. Now, I'm going to take this because we are on a time schedule this morning, and I want this to chill so that I can actually use it in this construction of our cake pop build. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and dip my cake pops because they've been sitting here for a few minutes while I did the wet chocolate. We're going to dip it so that it has time to set up so that we can put all the elements together. Oh, wait a minute. Let's not dip them yet. Let's do something else because I want to add stuff when it's wet. So let's go ahead and make our legs for our grills. So I just have these little, pretzel sticks, and I'm just going to break them. And I just want to make sure that, let's do it this way. I just want to make sure that they're even. So I'm going to use the first one to create the second one. Let's do this one. I'll use that first one again to create them so that they're all, whoops, that's not even. Let's see if this one is. Oh, look at that. I couldn't have done that if I tried. Like, really. All right, so let's go ahead and get a couple extra ones just to make sure that we have. Okay, so now I have another cutter from the set. It's the smallest one. I'm going to use this with some black modeling chocolate. We are going to put this through the widest setting of my pasta maker that's attached to my KitchenAid because I want it nice and thick so that I'll be able to stick the pretzels down inside of it for our legs. So we're going to flatten it out just a little bit. In this bowl here I have some cornstarch, and that just takes some of that tackiness out because I don't want that to get on the rollers of my pasta maker. All right, so as you can see, it's a good 1/8 of an inch thick. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to cut out the two that we need, and the one extra one. And then there is just a little bit of a gap. I don't know if you can see that between the top of my grill and the grill plate. And I'm going to create them with my number 6 Wilton's icing tip. So I'm going to cut them out. I want 3 of them for each one. So we'll just go ahead and cut them out. All right, let's put this back here in case I need to go back to it. We'll go ahead and put that there. Now we're going to take our little circles. We're going to take 3 of our legs, and I'm going to I'm going to dip the part that I actually broke so that we have nice pretzel, baked pretzel in the bottom. And I'm just going to dip that. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we can go ahead and do it. I'm just going to push it in. I'm going to take that. I want to center. I forgot about that. One of these days I'll write instructions down. I just want to take the center out. It doesn't have to be absolute center, but let me go ahead and do that for the other ones as well. That way I can put my lollipop stick right up through there and not have to push it through the chocolate very much. All right, now I think I'm done with that. Now I take these 2 and I'm just going to put them around the outside, pushing it down in that chocolate. And then I'm just going to push it off to the side. While I'm here, let me go ahead and just make some hamburgers and hot dogs. So with the hamburger, I'm just going to use my hands to flatten it. It's going to be a big hamburger if I left it that big. Just going to take a ball, make a hamburger. Nice and thick, like big quarter pounder thick. All right, let's go ahead and take some yellow. We're gonna make these into cheeseburgers. Again, I'm just gonna flatten them down a little bit. This one here, I wanna make it nice and even. Just use my silicone rolling pin. I'm gonna take my little knife. I'm just going to create a straight line, another straight line, square it up. There's 1 piece of cheese, 2 pieces of cheese. We're going to take that. I'm just going to, where might use that? I'm just going to use just a little dot to put it on my cheeseburger. And I'm just going to flatten it down over the sides like it's melted. Okay, and I'm going to do that with the other one. Go ahead and do this as well. You're welcome, Stacy. All right, so I'm just going to make some hot dogs here. I'm just going to soften up that end so it's not so hard. And I'm just going to curve it just a little bit. All right, the next thing we're going to go ahead and dip our chocolate. I'm just going to get the top there. And then I'll shake it off. Do you guys have any other questions for me while you're here? And while I'm just shaking chocolate? Feel free to ask your questions. All right, I'm just going to tap that off. Now I'm going to go back to my pretzels. Here it looks like a little cute stand, like so. I'm going to make sure that that hole is wide enough for my lollipop stick. And then I'm just going to take my lollipop stick, put it down inside like that, flip it over, and let it slide down. And just attach that to my cake pop while it's wet. And that becomes the base. I'm just pushing it up against the cake pop. All right, so that is done. I want to, let me do this. So on the outside of our cake pop is this blue band. And I just put that there as a separator, something to distinguish between the actual grill part and the base of the grill. So in here I have some blue in my clay extruder. If you guys don't have one of these, I really recommend this. It is such a time saver for a lot of different things. All right. So with my cake pop, while it is still wet, I am going to use it as glue. And wrap it around the top. Until it touches the other one, and then I'm just going to use my knife and cut it off like so, and then I'm just going to straighten it up. While it's wet, you can do that. You can maneuver around. I'm just going to flatten the spots so it's nice and even. Now you can let it dry. I do this as a time saver because I'm trying to keep the tutorial within an hour, but you can absolutely let your cake pop completely dry. Use a paintbrush and water, put a little bit of water around the top, and then lay it on that way. So, the chocolate clear up my arm. All right, so I'm going to grab my little risers here. I need 3, but I'm going to grab a whole bunch of them. Now I'm going to put my risers right where the pretzel legs are at, because when I want this to be a nice cohesive look. So right at the outside of that wet chocolate, up against the blue, I'm going to add those little risers. All right, so I don't know if you can see, I've got 3 risers, and if you look down, they should be squared up with those legs. At this point, I'm going to go grab my chocolate out of the refrigerator because it should be firm enough that I can work with it. All right, so I just pulled this out of the refrigerator, and now if I just take my knife underneath it, it'll just pop right off. See that? This is a beautiful thing with chocolate. All right, now on the top of those 3 risers, I'm just going to add just a little chocolate. It'll be our glue. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna flip it over because I want the flat side. Look how beautiful that looks. And I'm just gonna lay it on top of those risers. See that? Tap it down so it doesn't go anywhere. That chocolate will harden up and make that stay right there. And now we have that little crease in there, or the little gap in there that makes it really look like a grill. And we've got the grill top. And now we're going to add some hamburgers on there. Just going to use just a little bit of chocolate. We'll throw our hamburger on there. We'll throw a couple hot dogs on there. Just using just a little bit of chocolate. There's one. Okay, I'm going to put some grill marks on the hot dog. All I'm just doing is taking some wet chocolate, it's not sticking yet to the thing, but it will. I have some Mike and Ike's. I want an orange one, I want a red one, I want a green one, and I want a yellow one. Oh, they went everywhere. Orange, oh, I missed a yellow one. Okay, now I have some kitchen scissors. I've already Cloroxed them and stuff, and I'm just going to create little wedges, if you will. Well, actually, they're circles. And I want the centers, so I'm going to cut the ends off Let's go ahead and round them just a little bit. Now, because cake pops, we don't want to stick anything that's not edible in there. We don't want somebody to, think they can bite into it and it not be edible. I actually have some spaghetti here and we're going to use it. Now, I will tell you, when I made these the other day, I don't have any regular spaghetti. These are angel hair. But if you had the regular spaghetti, you won't run the risk of breaking it as much as what I did. I did break a couple of them. So I'm going to just take my angel hair spaghetti and stick it through them. And there you have your kebabs, just like that. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of chocolate right on the bottom to help it stick to our grill. And I'm just gonna lay it right on the top, like that. There you go, guys. Look at that. We just made a grill. Isn't it so cute? Now, I know you guys can do this, and this tutorial is going to be out in the group so that you can watch it over and over. All right, well then guys, have an amazing rest of your Tuesday. I love you, and be creative. I'll see you guys.